So first of all, I want to thank Mayor Weismann for allowing me to have a few moments before she does a presentation this evening. And tonight, the mayor will be speaking about a gentleman named Stephen Gurowitz, who is sitting quietly in the back. And I just wanted to say a few words before she presents to him. Everyone probably knows Stephen G. because you can see his trucks throughout the area, the great big black trucks with the white print, and he is delivering furniture and making lots of homes very beautiful and lots of condominiums very beautiful. I know for sure that Stephen actually started his business at his kitchen table. He moved that business from the kitchen table to the garage. And he's currently located in a mega facility in Pompano that is bigger than we can even imagine. His success in design doesn't really equal the success that he has in his kindness and his charity work. And that's what we're going to be speaking about this evening. Stephen is someone who knows what adversity is, who understands that things aren't always wonderful, and as successful as he is today, it doesn't even equal the size of his heart and his giving. Whether it's helping children, buying wheelchairs for them, whether it's outfitting a home for a child who has special needs, whether it's going to the Keys and taking trucks and getting special permission to go down there when the Keys were devastated, or his current endeavor, which is the Bahamas, and hiring containers and putting them on huge ships and chartering planes. Why? Because someone needed help. And that's really the essence of who Stephen is. This happens to be Breast Cancer Month. So what does Stephen do? He creates t-shirts that show and remind people this is Breast Cancer Month. And why does he do it? And all of his employees have to wear these shirts to work. Why does he do it? Because if even one person sees this shirt and is touched and thinks about helping someone else for breast cancer, then in his mind, he did something good. And so it's with that context that I know the mayor has something that she really would like to share.
You know, I want you all to think back to September and what you might have been doing the first week of September, because I know what I was doing was calling my city manager about every other hour as I watched on the TV Hurricane Dorian grow bigger and bigger and bigger. We got lucky. But some people didn't. And sometimes it's the neediest people that have the worst physical disasters. And every once in a while, it allows somebody the opportunity to do much more than what all of us normally think is giving. And I have to tell you, I don't know Stephen G. well. I've met him a dozen times. I've met him with Dr. Marks. I know he's a great person. You know, those are just sort of words. To happen what occurred, almost the minute he heard about the winds and the storms approaching the Bahamas, he set into motion something I've not seen in Miami, and I've grown up here and lived here my entire life. He gave from the bottom of his heart. Dr. Marks told you what he did. There are people alive today that have a jacket, a t-shirt, a sweater to put on, that have clean water to drink, that have food to eat. What he delivered were pallet upon pallet upon pallet. It's like a sea to save the humanity in Freeport. So, Stephen, God has let you do well, and because you've done well, you do so much good, and it's not directed at any one endeavor. It just seems to help humanity when people are crying out for someone to be a hero. So we have a hero. You're a real hero. I also want to give a big shout out to Gladys Mizrahi, who spent countless hours here sorting our donations, helping with what was delivered. The outpouring from the community was amazing. So I'm going to ask any of the commissioners that want to come down now as I give Stephen this proclamation. Please come down. This turned into an entire community event. So Steve, if you'll come down and stand with Linda.
You guys are a tough act to follow.
You know, people say it takes a village, but the village has to show up. Stephen G. not only shows up, he gets everyone he knows to show up. So, whereas in September 2019, the islands of the Bahamas were devastated by a Cat 5 Hurricane Dorian, and whereas without hesitation and empowered by a mission to provide assistance to our island neighbors, Aventura resident Stephen G. partnered with the City of Aventura and the Aventura Marketing Council Chamber of Commerce to collect donations of desperately needed items at Aventura's Government Center. And whereas Stephen G. provided trucks to transport donations locally, chartered planes to deliver boats to deliver the supplies, worked with the Bahamian Prime Minister and sent escorts to ensure the donations reached the hurricane victims. And whereas the City of Aventura would like to recognize Stephen G. and applaud him for his invaluable efforts in spearheading the coordination of hurricane relief efforts for the Bahamas. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Enid Weismann, as mayor and on behalf of the City Commission of the City of Aventura, Florida, do hereby proclaim October 2nd, 2019 as Stephen G. Day. If you want to know who a hero is, take a look. And also take a look at the humility and the humbleness. You know, we don't see that very often.
This has been a driving mission, not just for myself, but for people here in the City of Aventura, my entire staff, their families, my partner in Freeport, who just partnered on the experience, who met with the Prime Minister to approve us to be able to give them product, the goods, the water, the clothes, to the people and not to the government, was a job in itself. In 9 days, we filled 6 40-foot containers without an inch to spare. We had the containers in Freeport in 24 hours, unloaded on the ground, fenced off, unloaded, and lines of literally hundreds of children, hundreds of families stood there waiting to be let in and get the essentials that they needed. Believe me, Key West was an experience, but nothing like you have ever seen. I was here, I lived in Miami during Hurricane Andrew. When you went to South Miami, it looked like somebody set off a bomb. When you go to Freeport, there are parts in the islands that are non-existent. There are over 600 people officially missing and cannot be found. They have 72, I think, is the current total of death. So their neighbors, people of South Florida, go there and have gone there fishing for years, vacationing all over the Bahamas for years. These people are truly devastated. And anything that anybody could do is greatly appreciated. The only thing we will not take is checks or cash. We are still collecting. I have a woman from North Carolina driving a truck down this week, loaded with goods. We have yet to say no. We will continue as long as needed. And believe me, people have said, don't send clothing, wrong. Don't send this, wrong. We bought from an Army-Navy store 1,000 cots. They have nothing. There are parts of the island that were unscathed, as crazy as that sounds, for a storm in history that has never lasted in one location as long as this did. But a lot of the Bahamas and a lot of the outer islands are gone. Whether they will be rebuilt, nobody has come to the aid or rescue of the Bahamas. Not the United States government, not the Bahamian government, nobody. If it wasn't for first responders and the U.S. Coast Guard, bodies would still be floating up. They were the ones that went on search and rescue, but nobody else. Thank you, and I'm honored and blessed.
Let's get a picture. Mark, want to get in a picture? I don't know. Linda, this might not be the best.
Yeah, with this thing in front. Yeah, we all need it.